How you going, guys? Dean Simbeck from the World Eaters blog for the Blood God here. I've got my brother with me here today and we're going to get stuck into our very first video battle report for Warhammer 40k 7th edition. So we'll introduce our armies first and then we'll get stuck into turn 1. Okay, we're going to do a 500 point battle today, just something small to get started with the new 7th edition stuff. We're going with Unbound army lists, so I've got a squad of 8 Flesh Hounds of Khorne, Herald on Juggernaut, which has got the Exalted reward, which I'll probably use the Grimoire of True Names, and then I've got a squad of 4 Blood Crushers of Khorne, and they'll go with him as like a retinue, so it's pretty much just going to be 2 units, fast, crazy motherfuckers.
Hi, I'm Ben Simbeck. This is my 500 point Space Wolf army. Basically got my Wolf Lord on a Thunder Wolf. He's got a Thunderhammer, Storm Shield, Runic Armor, 2 Fenrisian Wolves, and Saga of the Bear. Then I've got my single Thunder Wolf there, and a second single Thunder Wolf, just standard Thunder Wolves, and 3 squads of Fenrisians. So I've got 1 squad of 5, I've got the squad of 6, and the second squad of 5 over there. The Lord will most likely join probably the squad of 6, depending how the game plays out.
Okay, we've just finished setting up the table. We decided to do the Maelstrom of War missions just to give that a shot. And we've placed our objective markers already. We decided to go with very minimal terrain simply because we've both got very assault-based, fast armies. I think the longest range weapon we're going to have in this game is a 12-inch bolt pistol, so nobody's going to be hiding in cover because there'd be no point. So this is our table. We're playing on a 4x4 board, so from this line across we're going to ignore. Just on those 4 panels. And yeah, we'll get into deployment and then the first turn. Okay, that's deployment finished. Chaos side rolled to go first and deploy first. So I've deployed my Blood Crushers along this side and leading into the Flesh Hounds. And I made a last minute decision to keep my Herald off on his own. And I've deployed so that I'm pretty much ready to capture objectives, 5, 3, and 2. I'm in a pretty good position to claim those. And yeah, now let's get into the Space Wolf deployment.
Space Wolf deployment, I had no idea what to really expect, and with such fast units I didn't really sort of put too much thought into my deployment, since I'll be able to move around anyway. So basically I've got my 1 Thunder Wolf, 5 Fenrisians. Next to that I've got the 6 Fenrisians with the Lord with his extra 2. Then over the other side here, just the same thing mirrored. I've got the Thunder Wolf and then 5 Fenrisians. So they're all close enough to grab objectives turn 1 if I need to. And I can sort of split them up and do what I need to do during the game.
Alrighty, that's the end of Chaos turn 1. Pretty short and sweet considering I got no shooting and everything's out of assault range. Blood Crushers simply moved up to hold objective number 5. The Flesh Hounds has moved up to hold objective number 1, and the Herald has moved up to hold objective number 2. We forgot to mention at the start, we rolled Deadlock on the Maelstrom of War missions. So at the start of the game I've drawn my 6 cards, and I actually have objective 5 on here twice, which I've now claimed, objective 1 on here twice, which I've now claimed, and objective 2, which I've now claimed. So straight away within the first movement phase I've pretty much just captured 5 objectives, which is freaking awesome. But yeah, we'll see, because I've just put myself exposed to all those Space Wolves assaulting me, so we'll see whether it was worth it and whether it'll pay off come Space Wolf turn 1.
Hey guys, that's Space Wolf's turn 1. Drew my 6 objectives. I got Hold the Line and Blood and Guts, Kingslayer, secure objective 3. Then I also got Recon and Overwhelming Firepower. We decided that because Recon's unobtainable. I could swap that out for free. I also swapped out the overwhelming firepower since I only had 2 bolt pistols in my whole army. That wasn't really doable. And off that I drew behind enemy lines and secure objective 4. Basically at my turn, I just moved 1 Thunderwolf forward. He's still within the 12 inches to hold the line. Same as my Wolf Lord with his 2 Fenrisians, they just stayed to get that objective. And the last Thunderwolf. So basically just rushed all my Fenrisians forward and managed to wipe out that squad of Fleshhounds. That gave me the Blood and Guts objective. And I'm don't care too much whether they get wasted next turn or not, because they're just Fenrisians, so who cares? So basically, yeah, got my 2 objectives. Not quite as good as the 5 that my brother got, but we'll see what happens next turn.
Alrighty, just finished Chaos turn 2. It was a bit eventful. We had the Blood Crushers run up towards that central objective, objective number 1, and the Herald ran forward. He used his Grimoire on the Blood Crushers, and this time it actually worked for him, and we got the 3+ invulnerable on the Blood Crusher unit. They then in turn slaughtered the Fenrisian Wolves, and that was the end of the turn. So at the end of the turn I'm holding objective 4 and objective 1, which I happen to have 2 of the objective 4 cards, so they're achieved, and 1 of the objective 1. So that's the end of my turn, but I have left myself pretty exposed because he's got a lot of units there that are potentially able to charge me, so fingers crossed that 3+ invulnerable holds itself and I don't get tabled this turn. Alright, let's get into Space Wolves' turn.
So we have the end of Space Wolves' turn 2. I've got the Thunderwolf moved across to grab objective number 6. I moved some Fenrisians up around there to grab objective number 3. I felt that was kind of stupid considering there were some Blood Crushers here, and these Wolves were more interested in grabbing the objective. Didn't make too much sense to me. That's how the game goes there, I guess. And then we've got objective 4 secured. I basically charged the Lord in with his Fenrisians and the Thunderwolf. Managed to take out that Herald and grab that objective. So basically what's happened at the end of the turn, I've managed to grab all 5 of my objectives. I had Assassinate and Kingslayer, I both got both of those. Then I managed to grab objective 3, 6 and 4.
And you managed to get Warlord as well.
And slay the Warlord, so I was very impressed with that turn and wasn't even expecting that to happen.
Alrighty, that's the end of Chaos turn 2, and I have to say that's got to be one of the quickest games of Warhammer 40k I've ever played. Chaos player tabled by turn 2 by the Space Wolves. Freaking crazy. I figured that the only option that I really had left with my Blood Crushers was to charge their Lord, because I figured if I don't charge him, he's going to charge me. So it was unavoidable. But because of his 2+ armor and the power weapons only being AP 3, I only managed to get 1 additional wound on him, which wasn't enough to kill him, and then in return he just thunderhammered me in the face. And then I failed my instability test, causing my unit to be wiped out. So at the end of the game it was Chaos player tabled, so obviously it's instant win to the Space Wolves, but if you ignore that, I was on 8 victory cards. I didn't get First Blood, I didn't get Warlord, and I didn't get Linebreaker, whereas Ben got, what did we say it was? It was 12 all up plus, was it 12 plus or was it?
Including.
Yeah, so it was 9 up, 9 objectives, sorry, plus he got First Blood, plus he got Warlord, plus he got these Space Wolves here, which are a Linebreaker. So, yeah, I think the Maelstrom of War missions don't really work for smaller games, and there was a few things in there that were a bit silly, like, you know, these Fenrisian Wolves had been lined up, they were going to take on the Blood Crushers when they were centre field, but instead we drew a victory, what do they call them, tactical objective card, and then all of a sudden they were just running around capturing objectives. I think the Maelstrom of War runs the risk of having, you know, a bunch of units running around in circles like freaking ponies when they should be getting stuck into each other. That being said, it was still a very enjoyable game. I'm a big fan of the Maelstrom of War missions for now. I guess we'll just have to get a few more games under our belt before we make a decision on whether or not they're broken or whether or not they're, you know, whether or not they're functional. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and don't forget to look me up on Facebook and like my page. There's always different modelling advice and video showcases and those sorts of things on there, as well as plenty of battle reports to come. Alright, thanks guys.
Hey guys, just a few thoughts on the game too from the Space Wolves perspective. A couple of things I noticed that really helped me out was one, my Lord. Without him, there's no way I could have taken out things like the Blood Crushers and even his Herald and all that. That Lord just raped face, instant killing everything. The other thing is the multiple small units really helped me. You notice my opponent would have had probably 3 units, whereas I had just 3 units in the Fenrisians, let alone the 2 Thunderwolves and the Lord. That's just made it so much easier for me to not only go around grabbing objectives and tying them up with other units, but also the fact that if he did want to take a unit off the board and stop me, he's only going to be taking a smaller percentage of my army each time he tries to kill something. That helped quite a bit. This being my first game of 7th too, I'm still not quite sure on how I feel about the objectives and the Maelstrom missions. Turn 1, my opponent grabbing the 5 objectives, that sort of was a bit disheartening. Turn 2, I turned around and managed to actually get my 5, and I got the D3 for the Warlord objective, so it's just weird how that works. And I can imagine getting really unlucky in games. I could imagine not getting any objectives all game long and just getting bad draws. I can imagine your opponent just getting the perfect draws the whole game. So I don't know, like I know that's a game of luck, but to me it seems to be pushing the boundaries there. Look forward to doing some more battle reports too, and mostly for the next few you'll be seeing these spaces quite a bit, and hopefully you get to see them progress with their painting and their modelling as well. They're a bit tacky at the moment, but it's something that I'm working on. Cool, thanks guys.
Haha, now for my favourite part of any video battle report, or just any battle in general, the rules debate. Alright, we came to a situation here where his Lord had a Thunderwolf and a Thunderhammer. And the debate was, do you apply the addition before the multiplication or after? I've always been one to believe that it's added after, so the Thunderwolf would give you ×2 strength, and then you would add +1 for your Thunderwolf mount. But the debate was that this, in the Thunderwolf mount rules, it actually states that it adds +1 strength and toughness and attack to his profile, and then the weapon alters his profile. So we ummed and ahed on it, but it turned out it didn't matter anyway, because even at the strength 9 he had enough damage to wipe out the units that he charged anyway. So we didn't really look into it too hard, didn't bother trying to find FAQs or anything. But if anybody has any thoughts, I'd love to hear them in the comments box down the bottom. And yeah, thank you. Alrighty, we had such a fantastic time in that last game, and it happened to go so quick that we decided to do another battle report. Fortunately, I've got tons of world leaders there, so I was able to change my list up a little bit. I don't think my brother's made many changes to his list, but I wanted to trial out something a little bit different. This time we're going with 2 squads of 8 Berserkers, just stock standard, ignore any upgrades on them, because being a 500 point game I couldn't afford anything. So yeah, it's 2 stock standard squads of Berserkers in their Rhinos with a Chaos Lord, Mark of Khorne, and Axe of Blind Fury. This is going to be an interesting way to test out Battleforged as well, because both the Berserkers and the Rhinos will have the objective secured special rules. So that'll be interesting to see whether that actually plays any, plays any effect during the game. So yeah, that's the World Eaters army that I've brought. And yeah, we'll get into the Space Wolves.
Hey guys, back again with the Space Wolves. Unfortunately I didn't really bring any extra models, so I can't make any changes to my army. And this army is actually a work in progress at the moment, so I'm still waiting on quite a few models to be delivered. Ideally I'd probably rather drop the 2 Thunderwolves off and just add some more Fenrisians, especially for these low point games. But basically I've only got 20 Fenrisian Wolves at the moment anyway, so not much I can do there. The other thing I realised would have been cool is if I took the gave the Fenrisians the boost with the Mark of the Wolf in instead. That would have been a lot more handy last game, but I don't really like loose tailing, so usually I run my Lord with the Mark of the Bear, so that's what he's keeping. Otherwise, not much else I can really say about these guys, other than I'm sorry for them not being painted, but it all will be happening soon.
And so the Mark of the Bear gives you the Eternal Warrior, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, and the
Mark of the Wolfen gives you initiative and leadership 7 on your wolves, which the leadership didn't really matter because basically the wolves are either going to kill stuff or they're going to die. But the initiative would have helped a lot last game.
Well, that being said, they sort of killed everything that they charged anyway, so the initiative wouldn't have been that big of a boost.
True. Anyway, look forward to having this second game. Talk to you soon.
Alrighty, here's the table that we're going to be playing on. Obviously, it's the same table as the last game. We've just moved from these 4 panels onto the other 4 panels with the modular hills. The other thing that I forgot to show you guys in the last video was the custom objective markers that I've made for these new Maelstrom of War missions. Very, very easy to make. It's actually just a small piece of cork. I bought some cork trivet boards from a local discount variety store, and then all you do is rip a chunk off it, carve a number into it, and then paint it. Like I think they look really, really good with the lava, but I mean you wouldn't have to put lava if you've got a snowboard or if you've got a, any form of board, but I think the idea of having just like a stone with a number carved into it, I think that makes a really good looking objective. So that's my little tip for the day, is make yourself some really simple, straightforward objective markers for these new Maelstrom of War missions, because I guarantee that most games that you'll play are going to have them. We've also tried to mix up the terrain a little bit for this one, making some hills off to the side, buildings off to the side, and leave the center of the board a little bit more open, trying to minimize the dangerous terrain tests that you'll get for walking through that lava. Put some high ground up there, not that anyone has any shooting in this game, but anyway, we just thought we'd mix it up a little bit. Alright, so now we're going to roll off, get into deployment, and then it'll be turn 1. Alrighty, we did the roll off to see who could go first and deploy first, and just like the last game, Chaos Player, which is me, rolled to go first. I could not think of a more boring deployment. Simply 2 rhinos. We've got a squad of naked berserkers in Rhino 1, and this rhino with the marked corn on the front, that's got the berserkers and the lord in it. I've sort of placed them there so that depending on which objective card I get, I'm within good range of a few different objective markers. We've got objective 2 here, we've got objective 4 there, which is very achievable, and we've also got objective 3 over here. So I'm in a position where I could sort of jump to any of those objectives as needed, and yeah, I'm interested to see how rhinos work in this 7th edition. This is actually the first time I've used rhinos in 7th edition, so we'll see whether having the objective secured rule helps them out, or whether it's nothing to really worry about. I foresee this game will probably end similar to the last one, in either one of the 2 sides will probably get tabled. That's just sort of what happens in the 500-point games, because you don't have enough units to last a full 6 turns. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Time to get into the Space Wolves deployment.
Hey guys, first up, just want to say when I was describing my army, I was saying that my guy has the Mark of the Bear. Obviously I'm new to Space Wolves, still learning. It's actually Saga of the Bear. We all make these mistakes. Basically what I've done, made a slight alteration before the game started. I decided to run all my wolves in just one squad instead of having multiple small units, just because mainly I wanted to just try something different, make it a bit less boring for you guys to watch. I've got a bit of a sneaky tactic that I'm not saying just yet, but keep an eye on this squad of wolves here, we'll see what we can do.
Oh, shit.
Second, single Thunderwolf again, just in the centre, easily going to be able to grab objective 6, or I could possibly make it to objective 4, I think, turn 1 if I need to. There's close enough range.
Yeah, should be able to.
Then same with the second one here, I've got objective 1 if I need that. I won't be able to make it to another objective, but if I need to run him straight down to that rhino, I can do that.
So before you finish up, have we got the 2 Thunderwolves with that guy, or are they part of one big squad?
So here we've got the Lord with his 2 Thunderwolves, and then that's joined on to a squad of 15 Fenrisian Wolves.
Yes, but it's still 2 separate units.
So it's still 2 separate units for game purposes, so I can split the Lord off if I feel like it. They're just starting like that. There's quite a few reasons you'd want to do this, which I'll go through as the game progresses. Okay, time for a good game.
Alrighty, end of Chaos Space Marine turn 1. I moved this Rhino across 6 inches, deployed squad of Berserkers with the Lord, and ran forward. This squad of Berserkers deployed out of the Rhino, and then the Rhino moved its full distance over there. So at the moment, I'm currently holding objective number 2, objective number 4, and objective number 3. I only drew score objective number 3 as my card because we decided on playing the tactical escalation, where you start off with one tactical objective and then you accrue more throughout the game. So I've claimed that objective, but I'm in a good position so that next turn I've got a decent chance of finding some more, and I'm also in a strong tactical position to move forward and, you know, charge the enemy and engage him in assault. So we'll see what happens in the Space Wolves turn and whether they decide they want to come and face me in battle, or whether they want to be little sooky wolves and hang out over in their little corner there. But yeah, we'll see how we go. So that's 1 victory point for Chaos Space Marines, and let's have a look at what Space Wolves can do in their turn.
Hey guys, end of Space Wolves turn. Basically just ran everything forward, so got the Thunder Wolves up here to assault the Rhino and blew that up, which was awesome because also I had secure objective number 4, which is what I've grabbed here. Getting rid of that Rhino was handy because if I didn't kill that, he would have still contested it. Then basically my whole squad of wolves with the Lord ran up, assaulted the Berserkers and the Champion. Epic! It was pretty epic. Issued a challenge with my Wolf Lord on Thunderwolf. He accepted with his HQ as well, so we had a bit of an epic HQ battle going on. Basically he took a couple of swings at me with his axe, got me down to 1 wound, then basically just cowered on the ground in the fetal position like a bitch. And I just hammered him right in the face and just, yeah, managed to get 4 hits on him, but then rolled triple 1s to wound him. So I was lucky to get that 1 wound, which him not having the invulnerable save just absolutely raped his face off. The other thing I was a bit weird about was the Berserkers. I managed to kill 4 with all them Fenrisian wolves, but in turn I lost 10 wolves. Kind of makes sense when you look at the points values and the stats. I was just sort of hoping for a bit more, and I'm a bit worried because now the Berserkers only have to take that 1 wound off my Lord. So I'm kind of a bit scared at the moment to see what's going to happen next turn. Also passed my leadership test, so they're just going to keep locked in assault there. So that's going to be interesting. And on the next turn.
Alrighty, that's the end of Chaos turn 2, and I will be the first to admit I made some fucking stupid tactical moves in that round. I think it's the learning curve of 7th edition. I forgot about the objective secured rule that my Rhino has. I could have ran him forward and taken this objective 4, but I forgot that I had objective secured and I figured it was going to be contested, so I didn't go for it, when really I should have. Also, there was originally 2 Thunderwolves here, so I ran my Berserkers forward in an attempt to kill that Thunderwolf, when really I should have stayed back and hung on to this objective number 2, because I had the objective 2 card. So I could have, if I had played it right, I could have had both of those objectives right now. But I underestimated the objective secured, and I underestimated those Berserkers' ability to hold that objective, and as a result, I now didn't score any points that turn. That being said, the other eventful things was the Berserkers ran forward and fired at their Thunderwolf with their bolt pistols, which normally I always forget to even do because they very rarely do any damage, but they actually killed a Thunderwolf, a fully unhurt Thunderwolf. This Rhino fired upon this other Thunderwolf and managed to inflict a single wound upon him. And then there was this combat with the Berserkers versus the Thunderwolves and the Fenrisians. We had Berserkers and the Wolves all went at the same time, with the Thunderwolf going last because he's got the Thunder Hammer. We had some wounds inflicted by the Berserkers, killed, what was it, 2 Fenrisians. Fenrisians responded by not harming the Berserkers at all, thanks power armor. And then the Thunderwolf Lord smashed the shit out of 2 Berserkers with his Thunder Hammer, which was pretty expected. Interesting note, the new challenge mechanic, how excess wounds spill over into the squad, that definitely helped us out there, because or help my opponent out, I should say, because the that Thunderwolf would have only been able to kill the champion that he challenged, whereas in this, because of that new rule, he was able to take down that additional Berserker. Probably not a game-changing rule, but I still think it's quite interesting to note that that's one of the changes of 7th edition. So I'm a little bit nervous. I think I was a little bit shaken in this turn because, you know, that first round of Assault, you know, we had the Warlord versus Warlord and his just smashed mine in the face. That was a bit of a morale stab. And then, you know, I think it's just been a bit of an interesting turn. So we'll see if I can turn it around. Personally, I'm not holding very high hopes, but we'll see. Game's not over till it's over. And let's get into the next Space Wolf's turn.
There you guys, end of Space Wolf's turn 3. Basically, we just had the Thunderwolf that had a single wound. He just moved across, assaulted the Rhino, managed a penetrating hit which immobilized the Rhino, which is pretty exciting since I get to attack it in his turn now with automatic hits.
Probably worth mentioning that he rolled a 6 for his damage table, so had this been 6th edition, that would have been wrecked, exploded.
That's true, yeah.
But thanks to the new damage table, I managed to keep alive.
And it's still within range in case anyone draws that objective card. So that's something that I still need to worry about, even though it's mobilized there. And it's a pissy Rhino. And it's not even fully painted.
Oh, coming from Mr. Green Wolves.
Who plays with unpainted models? Okay, basically there's a couple of Berserkers left. Managed to take them out with the Wolves and the Wolf Lord. Once again, the Wolf Lord got quite a few hits, but only managed to take 1 wound. He rolled a shit ton of 1s for his wounds again, so that guy's luck's bound to change one day soon. Otherwise, that's pretty much it. My 2 objectives were no prisoners and blood and guts, so I got both of them just by killing them remaining 2 Berserkers, which was really nice. Okay, on to the next turn.
Alrighty, so that's the end of Chaos turn 3. We had my Berserkers have ran up, charged the Warlord and his Fenrisian Wolves, and fucked them up. It was actually really good to see that Lord go down, because in the last game I failed to do it. He did some serious damage in this game so far. His Lord killed mine, killed several Berserkers. So to see that vengeance happen, that was fantastic, exactly what I wanted to see. It was actually interesting because in that challenge, my champion had to issue a challenge against his Warlord, being a champion of Chaos. But because my Berserkers went at a higher initiative step than his Warlord, and my Berserkers managed to kill all of his Fenrisian Wolves, the new 7th edition challenge rules kicked in, and those wounds spilled over, which also killed his Warlord. So that's interesting, because if this had been 6th edition, his Warlord wouldn't have been able to be touched. So that actually shows perfectly fine how those new challenge mechanics will definitely impact the game and the way that the tactics play out. So yeah, I was really happy with the way that Assault turned out, and now when I look at the board, I actually think I might have this in the bag. Like, I mean, it's still early, still only turn 3, but you know, I was a bit worried in the last turn. Now I'm not quite so worried. The only other thing that happened in this turn is because his Thunderwolf here was in base contact with my Rhino, and my Rhino couldn't move. He got to make his attacks in my Assault phase, and in that time he wrecked my Rhino, made his consolidation move over here into the ruins. So for this game turn, I managed to secure objective number 4, which was my Berserkers over here, but I still have objectives 1 and 2 out in the open, and not really a great deal of options, because we've got my Berserkers is pretty much they are my only unit left. Objective 1 is all the way over here. Oh no, that's objective 2, sorry, is all the way over here, and objective 1's all the way up the back there. So, I mean, I could run, but he could run. He's faster than me, and he currently has more victory points. So, I mean, I'm probably telling my opponent my tactic here, but fuck it. My goal now is to just kill that guy. He's only got 1 wound left, and I've got bolt pistols, so he can't really hide that well. But yeah, fingers crossed I can take him down and table my opponent, and that way it's it's game chaos. But yeah, let's just see. Let's just let him pre-measure some stuff over here, cheeky bastard. But yeah, so we're about to get into Space Wolves turn 3, and we'll see. Who knows? He might be able to benefit from this cover or something. I'm gonna piss my pants laughing if he runs into that lava and dies to a dangerous stranger. I so want to see that happen. But yeah, somehow I doubt it because he gets his armor save against it and all that sort of shit. So I don't think that's what's gonna happen, but we'll see. But as with the last game, I don't really foresee this game ending due to victory points. I think it's going to be a matter of one opponent tables the other. Probably me tabling him. But we'll see. Let's get into Space Wolves turn 3.
Space Wolves turn. Not really much I could do other than get the hell out of there. I don't really want to lose by being tabled, so I didn't even want to risk shooting. So basically I've just sort of gone from up in the ruins, moved down 12, then did my run move. I got an extra 5 inches on my run. Didn't realise the cavalry treat difficult terrain as dangerous terrain, but they don't have to take the dangerous terrain check for their movement. So that was kind of interesting to realise that. Most of my armies, I don't think I've ever played with cavalry or beasts before, so I just would have assumed they're both pretty much the same, but in reality they're entirely different types of units. Otherwise, yeah, not much else to record, just other than I'm going to have to take another dangerous terrain to get over that lava. And I'm just going to basically just be cutting laps around the board for the rest of the game until time runs out.
Coward! Alrighty, Chaos Space Marine player turn 4. I think the game's going to get a little ridiculous from here, and I think this is going to be a really good example of where Maelstrom of War can go bad, because he's got 1 unit, I've got 1 unit, yet neither of us are going to give a shit about each other pretty much, because I've figured out that he's going to be faster than me, and it's going to be very hard for me to catch him, because if I go to run that way, he'll run that way. If I go to run that way, he'll run that way, you know. So no matter what happens, I'm going to have a really hard time catching him, unless I, you know, spread my unit out and try and, you know, corner him. But it's only a unit of 7 guys. It's not going to be big enough to pull that kind of maneuver off. So what's going to happen now is it's going to be completely up to these cards to determine who wins, because I'm now going to run forward. I've just ran forward in my turn, claimed objective 6. Boom. Now I've got 3, he's got 3. He's about to, in his turn, probably go and grab objective 5. He'll grab 1, but then in my turn, I'll come, you know, it's just going to be a matter of, you know, it's sort of like the battle's over, you know, the infantry are just running around collecting, you know, whatever it was that their armies are there to collect. My guys are going around collecting the skulls and the blood from the battlefield. His wolves looking for, you know, kibble. And yeah, that's it's a very interesting way that the Maelstrom of War, it completely changes the way the game plays. I can't stress enough, if you haven't played a game of 7th yet, if you haven't had the time or whatever, or even if you just haven't got into the Maelstrom of War, you might not have the objective cards yet or anything like that, I definitely recommend giving it a shot, but it definitely changes the way the game plays. But we'll see, because I mean at the moment we're tied, but he still gets another turn and he's going to have a head start on me there. But we'll see whether these objective cards can realistically change the game, or unless he makes some kind of tactical stupid move and lets me kill him. Like, let's see if he dies to lava. Come on, lava! Fingers crossed. You know, this is my home planet, this is my board, and I think that my lava should fuck him up. What do you guys reckon? But yeah, well, let's get into, what is it, turn 5? Oh no, this would be Space Wolves turn 4, I think. But yeah, we'll get into turn 4 and let's see what he can do. Oh my god, I don't normally do this, but normally we do the turn summary style of battle report. But we've just gone to move this Thunderwolf through the lava, and I've been wanting one of them to die to lava this whole freaking, both of these games we've just played. And he's just rolled a 1 for his dangerous terrain test, so I wanted to get this out and get this armor save on record, so that if we get that dead Thunderwolf, it'll be tabled by the actual table itself, not by the opponent.
Okay.
Alright, man, let's get your roll on.
Come on, fucking puppet.
Come on, 1 or 2.
Ah!
Fuck yeah! So we just got That's perfect. We just had...
I got Fleet, that allows you to re-roll your arm saves, yeah?
No, you fucking wish. Yeah, so it looks like the table itself is what won me the game. It had nothing to do with my army. The tactics weren't necessarily there. But, so yeah, that's tabled. Interestingly enough, even if he hadn't been tabled, if we had just called this, say, turn 6 and it's game over, he held, what, 3?
Oh, I would have just grabbed number 5 as well.
No, because if we call it game over, you fucking died. So let's say that's game over before, you know, at that his turn. He had 3, I had 3.
I got First Blood Warlord.
I got Warlord and Linebreaker. Probably.
No.
Is that Linebreaker?
No.
No?
No, you have to go over halfway. So.
Alright, so I guess if we were based off just strictly off the objective cards, then it looks like it was a narrow win by the Space Wolves player. Which, I mean, you probably should be going off the objective cards, because in a small game like this, someone's always going to get tabled. It's the bigger games where you really see those units that can manage to survive. So, yeah, but either way, I'm chalking this one up as a win to the World Eaters. So that's 1 game to the Space Wolves, which was our first game of 7, and the second game goes to the World Eaters. So I think... Interestingly, I think I could have done a lot better in this game. That's just my opinion. I could have done better with my tactics, with my rhinos, using the objective secured, things like that. But you know, we're trying to focus on objectives instead of the old way of just killing the opponent. Is sometimes takes a bit of wrapping your head around. Because the old way was just as long as on turn 6 you're on that objective, that's all that matters. Whereas now you've got to be constantly thinking about which objectives you want to be. You've also got to be thinking, well, should I stick around on this objective in case I draw that card? You know, you don't know what's going to happen. So there's a lot of randomization in there, and you've got to make sure that you're really fully prepared for everything. So that's my thoughts on how this game panned out and how 7th edition has affected it. The challenge mechanic definitely was a massive thing. The vehicle damage was a massive thing. You know, that rhino would have been wrecked a lot earlier in the game had it been the old damage table. I think you'll see rhino spam back in a big way in that now that the rhinos can score, and if they're taken for a troops choice, which they most likely will be, they get the objective secured rule. So you're essentially getting a 35-point unit that's fast, that can muscle opponents off of objectives and can't really be fucked with. I reckon rhinos are back, and that I really like, because I like the rhinos. I've always wanted to run a full berserkers in rhino list. It hasn't really been that feasible until now. So we'll see how that turns out. But yeah, so that's my thoughts on this Battleland 7th edition.
Hey guys, just my thoughts from the Space Wolves player's perspective on this game. Couple of things I noticed. Berserkers, they did a hell of a lot better than I expected them to. My brother doesn't usually field them because there's he claims there's quite a lot better options, which I do agree with. But this game they did. All of it just they totally owned against the Lord, against Fenrisians, against Thunderwolves, whatever it was. You know, they did good. The vehicle damage, I personally like it. The fact you can't just blow up a vehicle now with glancing, that was kind of cool. Not really that big of a deal because I mean I get plenty of attacks with my Thunderwolves and all that anyway. Plus the rending helps a little bit. Otherwise, yeah, the only other thing was the difficult terrain, or the dangerous terrain I should say. I don't know. I mean, you've got a guy on a wolf here. They can jump like crazy, you know. They're psycho. To fail a terrain check from going over this one section, it makes sense if you get, say, like a lava explosion or something, but I mean, it's not like a wide river. It's not like even that small crack there. You wouldn't imagine there would be an explosion there. So to me, it was kind of a bit iffy, especially last game when you look at the boards. Like I started on this side. Basically, wherever I go, I'm going to have to cross dangerous terrain at some point. There's no way around that. I mean, dangerous terrain's not that big of a deal, but obviously in this case it was a total game deal, like a game breaker, you know. If it wasn't for that, then pretty sure Space Wolves would have had it in the bag.
What about the objectives? What are your thoughts on the Maelstrom of War?
That worked, yeah, that was totally better. Starting off with one objective and slowly building up. I enjoyed that a lot more.
So more than the starting off.
Yeah,
with
it's quite disheartening.
Yeah.
It's quite disheartening when your opponent starts with 5 objectives and turn 1 claims all 5. Then you draw your objectives and you get a few that you can't get at all, like slay a psyker or something, and you've just got no way of catching up. It does dishearten the game. Sort of like in the old days, versing a big gunline army that just rapes your face. It just disheartens the game a little bit, I think. But you know, I stayed with it the first game and managed to pull off a win pretty easily. So it's just persistence, I guess. This game, I didn't really see any issues. We all drew pretty good objectives. There wasn't any imbalance in the drawing, so that worked in our favour. Otherwise, yeah. The only other thing, obviously, like learning cavalry, the difference between them and beasts and what they're capable of. So otherwise, yeah, it was a good game. Definitely look forward to getting my stuff painted and actually getting some close-ups for you guys and just doing a better looking battle report.
Alrighty, this has been Dean Simbeck from the World Eaters blog for the Blood God. I've had my brother here with me tonight. We've had a couple of 500-point battles for you, done some battle reports. It's been fantastic fun. I've got to say, I'm a massive fan of the changes that they've made in this current edition, so I look forward to getting some more games under my belt. If there's anything that you guys want to see in a battle, if you want to see some crazy Unbound shenanigans, you know, a full demon summoning demonology list. I haven't got the scenic spam that everyone's going to be dreading to verse, but I can bring the World Eaters, you know, version. You know, whether it be you want to see what happens when somebody just brings land rages versus somebody else who just brings flyers or flying monstrous creatures. I've got plenty of options here. I've got Lords of War, so anything that you guys want to see, whether you want to see a nice big apocalypse game. I don't know how I'm going to go finding an opponent that can, you know, stand against this, but yeah, if there's anything you guys want to see, just chuck it in the comments box or hit me up on the Facebook page, facebook.com/blog for the Blood God. And yeah, most of my communication is done through the Facebook page, so hit me up on there. I have to say, 7th edition, I'm a massive fan of the Maelstrom of War. I think that adds an awesome dynamic to the game. It'll be interesting to see, after we get a few more games done, how that changes. And yeah, my biggest thing about the 7th edition, the thing that I'm most impressed with, is the way in which the rules have been written. They're so much more thorough. I don't know whether it's just because they've incorporated the FAQs from 6th edition, and since the rules didn't really change that much, they were able to write it a lot clearer. But, you know, there was a few examples in the couple of games that we've had tonight where general things that would have been a rules debate weren't there. Like things like if a model loses the +1 to their attacks for charging, but they lose that for disorientated charge, how does that affect models with rage? You know, that used to always be a debate, whereas now it's very crystal clear, cut and dry in the rulebook. They've done an excellent job of clearing up those sorts of things. So yeah, that's probably my biggest thing for 7th edition. So yeah, hit me up on the Facebook page, give me a like, follow me. I've got plenty of different videos on there, different hobby tutorials, modeling things, you know, step-by-steps on how to make, you know, your own custom-built Karanak model and just different stuff like that. There's my conversions of the Hellbrutes. I'm always uploading stuff every day, different stuff. Conversations, tactics, everything. So make sure you follow me if you're a Chaos fan, or if you're a World Eaters fan, you'll love it even more. And yeah, we look forward to bringing you guys plenty more video battle reports when my brother gets his shit painted. So yeah, we look forward to it, and thanks for watching, guys.